So today I'm making a little do-it-yourself project to mount a monitor to the wall. I had this monitor lying around and I didn't want my laptop anymore on the desk and having all those cables. So I took off the base of the monitor, and on the back on most of the monitors you have those mounting points, which you screw in any support that you can buy, but I decided to do it myself. So I had these metal brackets lying around at the shop, and I decided just to mount them in the back of the monitor and hook it on the wall with simple hooks. So it would be actually free because I had all the parts lying around and quite simple to mount. And one thing you have to consider is the cables. Most cables go in straight from the back, and so you need a little bit of room for the cables to flex. Otherwise you won't be able to actually connect the cables, or the cables won't be able to flex accordingly, or the monitor might up angled in some way that you don't want. So my idea for that was to elevate those brackets from the back of the monitor using 2 sheets of plywood, and this was also something I had lying around at home. So that was my initial idea, just 2 sheets of plywood and the brackets on the back. I decided later to make it a T-shape. In the end project I actually went back to something like this, you will see. So the first thing is to cut the plywood. So I had one square already that I had cut before, and I decided to make like a T-shape to have the brackets a little bit more to the side. And basically you can use any kind of metal brackets that has some hole or something like that, or even hooks that you mount to the back plate of plywood, and then another hook in the wall. I decided to use those brackets because they are identical one to another, so if you use them in the right way, if you put since they have already holes in it, if I use the same holes from the 2 brackets, I will have a perfectly even setup. So that will makes it much more easy to mount. You will actually see in my first attempt I was trying to mount the brackets to this T-shape, and later on I figured out that it would be better to have the brackets closer together and a screw through the brackets directly to the monitor, so the brackets would always be in the same height in relation to the monitor, and the monitor will be even, will be straight on the wall, won't be tilting to one side or another. So I decided to join the 2 plywoods using some 4 little screws, and you can see actually there's a sticker there on this plywood sheet, and it's because this was actually left over from a package. So one thing I did wrong here, I mounted the screws on the side that would go to the monitor, and you don't want to do this. You want the side that goes to the monitor to be perfectly flat, so the whole bracket, the whole mounting bracket will be sitting straight on the monitor, on the back of the monitor. So that was my attempt at the first design to level it out. And I tried my best here. I actually took some measurements and I tried to keep it all straight, but in the end it's just, since the distance between one and another is just like 10 centimeters or something like that, just a millimeter to the top or to the bottom, and it will end up having an effect of tilting the monitor when it's in the wall, at the wall. So here I noticed when I was mounting it that actually the brackets has these holes, and why do I don't use the screw that goes on the back of the monitor and goes through one of the holes of the bracket and by this I would have the two brackets perfectly aligned to the monitor itself. So that's the final design. I added a little stub at the back to keep the monitor in the right position that I wanted, so otherwise it will be tilting down. You'll see when I mount it in the wall. So it's just two little holes with some washers in it. And the hooks that go on. And I have to be straight to you guys here. The holes are not perfectly even at the wall. So I actually had a little bit of tilt, but luckily the device lets you, the way I built it, you can actually adjust it a little bit. And see, it's tilting down now, so I put on the little stub at the back, and then I had it perfectly flat, and that's the end result. Less cables on my desk, and everything looks a little bit nicer.